Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Could you give me a like or let me know if you can hear me? It's my first live ever, and thank you guys for coming. All right, so I don't know if you can hear me, but thank you, Lauren. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Thank you for coming, those who are here. Like I said, my first live, so I'm a little nervous, and it's exciting to have some people who I know. Thank you, Lauren. So hi to Claudia, and hi to Elizabeth from the Hudson Hub. Thank you for coming out and supporting me today. And hi, Lauren. Thanks for coming. So so my first live. And before I get started, I want to start this off because I'm going to add it to a show and tell collaboration. So this is going to be part of the This or That show and tell collaboration hosted by Abby from Rooted in Rest and Jessica from the Waldock Way. Just had these topics, so I thought this was a good one to do a live with. So I'm going to be talking about this and that so you can get to know me a little bit better. So they have, I'm not sure, about 20 questions here. So I'm going to check in with you and see what you like to do or which one you pick out of these as well. So coffee or tea? Well, I have right now this here, and it is coffee. It is decaf at this point. I do like tea. Usually tea is more of a right before bed, but I don't know, coffee soothes me, and I was nervous. So I thought I'd have some decaf coffee here. So I would say if I had to pick one, I would pick coffee. How about you? Do you prefer coffee or tea? While I'm waiting for that, early bird or night owl? I would say definitely night owl. I don't love to get up early. I get up as late as I can, which is at this point 7:30. In the past, when I was a lot younger, I would stay up really, really late. I don't have as much energy at night as I used to. That is for sure. Hi, SG. SG likes coffee. And Lauren is coffee and an early bird as well. Yeah. So not a lot of energy in the morning. Don't want to be talked to first thing in the morning. So I have my coffee and I have my kids busy on things in the morning. So that helps a little bit with that. But like I said, I can't go to sleep as late as I used to. That's for sure. All right. Paper planning or digital planning. So if you've seen some videos, my planning videos, I do a lot of digital planning. I like to use Google Docs. So I use a lot of digital planning. And as far as big picture homeschool planning, I use digital planners. But there's some things I do like to write down as well. So when I'm planning my YouTube content and stuff like that, I have a paper planner or just a notebook. And I definitely like to write those things down. I don't type those things out. So it just depends. I'm not sure. If I had to pick, I don't think I could pick one. They both have their own purposes. Some things are just easier to do with digital and some things are easier to do with a pencil and a pen. So what about you? Do you like digital planning or are you a paper planner? I think a lot of people are paper planners, but I don't know. I like to type things out and be able to move things around easily. Without having to put things on paper. It gets really messy when I start writing on paper. Plan ahead or plan from behind? Well, if you see my planning videos, you would know that I am definitely a plan ahead person. I don't get too upset if things don't go as planned, but I definitely like to plan ahead. Let's see, Lauren says, same, I use both. Probably a little overkill, but I love a good spreadsheet. Yeah, I agree. Spreadsheets are great. I really like them. I like to be able to format them. But so plan ahead. I don't plan from behind. I plan ahead, and whatever we did. I don't really record afterwards what we actually did in general. Paper planner, SG says, paper planner, digital is a bit too complicated for me. Yeah. Sometimes it's really, I would love to be one of the people who could buy like a cute planner and just write everything out on the planner, but I don't think I could keep it. I don't think I could keep it up. But so I don't really plan, I don't plan my day to day. I have my kids' checklists and I will just throw those every week I just throw it in a pile. So at the end of the year, I can see what they did there. And then I just write on the board what we're doing that day, but I don't keep track of what we actually did. Okay, the next one homeschool method or eclectic. I would love to hear your answer to that. So I think most people are eclectic. I think over time, usually your style evolves and you like to take little pieces from this place and that place. So I would love to hear if anyone is a purist on any of the methods. So like I said, I've said this in past videos. I am Charlotte Mason inspired, literature based, definitely eclectic. I just like to take bits and pieces and I try to make sure things fit with my kids and my family. So I don't stick specifically to one style. SG says eclectic. Yeah. So SG, do you lean towards one method or two methods, or is it pretty evenly spread? I would say that I'm not super classical. I do some traditional things. Charlotte Mason is kind of my inspiration. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not great with hands-on type of stuff. I do need to do more of that, but I do try. My kids like hands-on things, so not my favorite, but I do try to add that. But yeah, Lauren says she's eclectic as well. Yeah. All right, homeschool hoarder or minimalist. Let me see. The Hudson Hub. I was thinking the same. Right now we are only using one method, but I feel like one day it'll change. We never know. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think I've ever been one specific. I think it just kind of morphs. I move more to one style and more to another style. SG multiple. My son is autistic and ADHD, and one method doesn't work all the time. Yeah, same. I have one son with autism and then two kids with ADHD, and then one who's highly capable, they called her in school. So definitely need to change the style based on the kid and just based on the current home environment. Tiffany, hi Tiffany. Tiffany Cromer says definitely eclectic. All right, so homeschool hoarder or a minimalist. Well, I'm not a minimalist, so I guess I need to pick homeschool hoarder. I don't like to keep a whole bunch of things that I'm not using though. So as far as curriculum goes, I do like to get all the things, but as soon as my kids have aged out or if we're finished with the curriculum, I like to move it along. We have a decent sized home, but we only have so much space. So I don't want to keep things around for a really long time. Anyone here a minimalist when it comes to homeschooling? I know there are some people who are minimalists, and yeah, I am not. I like to have all the things lots of things, lots of books, especially in homeschooling. Crayons or markers? If I were coloring, I would want markers. Crayons just have that. They're not as dark. So I guess markers. Whiteboard or chalkboard? Well, I'm allergic to chalkboards, so whiteboard, I guess, unless you got the kind of chalk that you draw on. They have that kind of chalk. But yeah, we have a whiteboard, and I wouldn't want a regular chalkboard. Games or puzzles? We do both. Wouldn't say we do a lot of games or a lot of puzzles. I guess I'm going to say games. We have a big closet of games that we don't play very often, so I'm going to say games. Whiteboard here too. Yeah. Would you sneeze if you had chalk? I don't think I could have been a teacher back in the day when they had chalk. And if you have to pick games or puzzles, does anyone have a specific? I feel like they're very similar. We do have a puzzle that I want to do this year, and we have a closet full of games, but definitely more games than puzzles around here. SG. I'm a first-year homeschool mom, so I don't know yet if I'm hoarder. However, I love to buy curriculum, so you might be headed that way. Lauren says we don't play many games or do many puzzles. Same here. Yeah. So we have a lot of games. I have a closet full of games, so maybe I'm a closet hoarder, considering I don't use the games very often. My kids will pull some out once in a while, but we definitely don't use it in our homeschool. Not saying I don't want to, but I just don't schedule that in. Screens or no screens? We have limited screens, but we definitely do use screens. We use screens for school, and I use screens as rewards. So we don't have unlimited all access to screens, but we have screens. And I have kids who love coding and kids who like to do things on Canva and design and things. So yeah, we have access to screens and other things too. They watch their TV on screens. We don't do too many games, but my son loves projects. Yeah, I would say that's, yeah, my kids do more projects. I have kids who just like to make their own things, maybe make their own games, but yeah, we don't play a lot of the games that we have around the house. So what about you? Do you use screens, no screens, limited screens, all access to screens? I know different families do it different ways. All right, pajamas all day or get dressed. We are definitely get dressed family. I would feel like I wasn't fully awake if I didn't have a shower and get dressed. So yeah, we have a special reward that they can earn that would be to wear pajamas all day, but they would have to earn that. And I don't know how productive we would be that day. See, Lauren says, I love Osmo, which is a fantastic educational game on a tablet. We wouldn't be without it. I've never heard of Osmo. What kind of game is that, Lauren, and what ages are your kids? That would be, yeah, I love to find good educational games for my kids. They like to play games on their tablet a lot. So pajamas or get dressed? What do you do? Do you get dressed for school or do you wear your pajamas during school? Next one, read aloud or independent reading. Let's see. I don't think I could pick one of those. We do read aloud and we do a lot of independent reading in our home. I would say we didn't do a lot of reading aloud before we started homeschooling. So other than when my kids were learning to read and they would read to us every night. So we did that. We did like a 10-minute, they read to us at night, but I really didn't do a lot of reading to my kids. So that was something new that we added when we started homeschooling and a great addition. And we do that many times now. We do audio, and we probably would have done audiobooks when we weren't homeschooling, when we were in public school, but we do a lot of read alouds now, and all my kids are doing independent reading. So I'm not sure if I had to pick one. If I had to pick one, I'd probably say independent reading, because then everyone can be reading what they're interested in. Yeah. Get dressed. Being in pajamas will not motivate me to do things. Yeah. I don't think I would feel super productive if I were wearing my pajamas, but that's just me. Classic or modern literature? I'm going to go with modern literature. I do like classic literature. There's some classic literature that I definitely want my kids to read, but I really enjoy modern literature when you can find a good book that is written recently. That's always, I prefer modern literature. Let's see. Lauren, Osmo is probably better suited for younger kids. 3rd grade and under would be my best guess generally, but there's a few games that are so great for math drills and for mental math for 3rd to 6th. Great. So there's a new program if people are looking for educational games. So you can look up Osmo, OSMO. Thanks for sharing, Lauren. All right. How about you? Classic or modern literature? What do you prefer? Science or history? Well, that one's a no-brainer for me. Definitely history. I did a concentration in history in college, but I will say I did not enjoy history until I got to university. That's when I actually started to realize what history was, that it's just stories of people. And so I really enjoy history, especially now teaching my kids in a literature-based way. So definitely history is my preference. Science, I don't love science, but I think I'm growing an appreciation for science as I'm learning more with my kids and as I'm finding curriculum that I'm more excited about. I think I'm going to enjoy science more, but definitely history there. Science, let's see. Lauren says, science is my least favorite subject to teach. Yeah. What would be my least favorite? I don't know. Least favorite. Be hard to pick a least favorite, but science definitely was not one of the things that I jumped into when we started homeschooling. We just read about animals and I did not really focus on science. Science, it was and still is my favorite, says SG. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not very good at doing experiments and activities. My kids are pretty excited about Monday because we're going to do a food chain and we're going to do owl pellets, which I've never done before. So that should be interesting. Some kids are kind of grossed out by it. I am actually looking forward to that. So science, let's see, art or music? I would say in our homeschool, we do more art than music. So we do focus more on art. I usually have some art lessons, and my kids are doing art individually. Music, we just do kind of the composer study right now, and that is just because of Charlotte Mason. If I hadn't learned about Charlotte Mason philosophy, I probably would not be doing much about music. So I'm going to pick art. History for me, says Kimberly. Hi, Kimberly. D40. Okay, art or music? What do you prefer, or what is your what do you go to more in your homeschool? Lauren says art. Yeah, we don't do much music. My kids are taking some music lessons at our parent partnership program, so they're doing intro to piano, so that's good because one of my daughters has always been asking to do more music. And Kimberly says music. Nature study or poetry tea time. So this is actually really easy one for me. We've done nature study since the beginning of our homeschooling. That is sort of how I got introduced to Charlotte Mason. And I have had no interest in doing the poetry tea time. I do like to read poetry. I have enjoyed reading poetry to my kids. We do read poetry in our homeschool, and I've enjoyed it as a homeschool mom. But I don't really want to make an occasion of it. I don't really want to do a fancy tea. I think it's one of those activities or things, it just feels like another thing to do. So I know lots of people really enjoy poetry tea time, and I know it doesn't have to be fancy, but yeah, I've never had much interest in doing that. So what about you? Do you do a lot of nature study, or would you prefer to do poetry tea time? We really do nature study quite a bit. We have several groups. I have like 2 groups, and one is nature study every 2 weeks, and another one is when it's nice weather. We go and do nature study. So we do that a lot. Lauren says we use classic for kids for music, which are free 5 to 7 minute podcasts on different composers, but it doesn't go into too much depth. Okay, classic for kids. That's a good idea. I haven't really looked at podcasts. We've just done like the CDs, like the Simply Charlotte Mason CDs. And then I usually look up on YouTube, kind of their story of their life kind of thing. But yeah, thanks for the recommendation, Lauren. Okay, lunch with your kids or lunch alone? Usually I have lunch with my kids. If I were to choose, I would probably choose lunch alone. Sometimes I do lunch alone when my kids are in quiet time. It just depends on the day. So if I had to pick, I would say maybe lunch alone, because during lunch we're listening to an audiobook, and I'm just kind of making sure my kids have food and things like that. So I'm going to choose lunch alone. What do you guys usually do in your homeschool? Do you usually wait till the kids are in their quiet time? School at the table or school all over the house? We definitely school all over the house. I would say more on the couch than anywhere else. And then my kids do their independent work usually at the table or at their desks. So I guess a little of both, but it's kind of all over the house. Do you guys do school all over the house, or do you sit at the table for most of it? Take summers off or school year round? So let's see. We do school year round-ish. We do a very light schedule in the summer. We do take time off because we're traveling and doing things. So we say we're year-round homeschoolers, and we do a little bit of work during the school year, but we're not the kind of homeschoolers that just keep going like normal throughout the year. I know there's some who just don't even really, summer is just another day and they just take off time whenever they want. So let's see, SG says school at the table. I have a small house. And Lauren says we are almost always at the table except for read alouds. Okay, so yeah, so a lot of school at the table. And it might depend on how old your kids are, how long your school is. We have 3 to 4 hours. I mean, we take breaks, but so kind of need to break it up. So we go in different places for different things. And then there's a computer. A lot of my kids have some stuff on the computer, so they're all over the place. And last one, mummify a chicken or dissect a frog? I did not know that people mummified things for science. And I'm not really interested in either of these, being someone who doesn't love science. So maybe if I had to pick, I would say mummify a chicken. I have no idea what the process would be for that. I would not be excited about doing that. I know I don't want to dissect a frog. I did get out of doing all of that. I was a homeschooled kids. I was homeschooled my whole life as well. So I don't know. Didn't have to do any dissections. Maybe one of the perks of being homeschooled. Let's see. What would you choose? Does anyone want to do either of those? Maybe people are interested in science. SG, would you want to do any of those? Mummify a chicken or dissect a frog? Let's see. Lauren says, I don't really want to do either, but the frog sounds easier. Does it come in a kit? Yeah. I would hope. I don't know. I don't really want to search how to mummify a chicken. So hopefully it comes in a kit. I would need a kit. Let's see. SG, dissecting. I'm guessing that's frogs, was one thing I didn't do in school. Tiffany, I've mummified a chicken. Interesting. Was that part of curriculum or just something you wanted to do? So yeah, so that was my this or that. Thank you all for joining me. Let's see, SG, I didn't want to mummify anything. Yeah. Yeah, no mummifying. Let's see, Story of the World, Volume 1. Okay, mummifying chicken. Okay, we don't use the activity book for Story of the World, so I guess I didn't know that. Did you have to get all your stuff or did it come in a kit? Was it pretty easy or was it challenging to mummify a chicken? That's interesting. Did your kids enjoy it? I got it. It was easy and my kids loved it. Awesome. Yeah, I think my boys would love it. I don't know if my girls would be too impressed. But, well, thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you taking the time to come and chat with me and making it a little easier to be on this live with people to talk to. Thanks for coming, and let me know if you would like me to do another chat sometime. And yeah, I'm glad I had a topic. Helps it when there's something that I'm going to talk about. So I really appreciate you guys, and see you in my next video. Kimberly says thank you, and SG, will you do this again? I can if you want me to. Yeah, let's see, Lauren, love your videos. See you soon. Thank you. Tiffany, thank you. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. Bye, everyone.